one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2 3. 1 2 3.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Winning has a price. And leadership has a price.
That's another root of human struggle, worrying about other people's perceptions about who you are. Like, why would you ever care about that, you know? And I think that I fell victim to that in my past, of worrying about things that I can't control. You know, if the people understood what words could do to a human being, especially where we are in today's society, then they wouldn't be invested in that.
Yo, when I'm at me and my homies, that's how we address each other. We walking up to each other, we like, yo, what's good, gang? That's how we talk to each other. So I just wanted y'all to know that. But anyways, how is everybody doing? Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Saint, WNBA edition. Now, I know some people not gonna like that. I get it. The NBA is going on tonight. NBA playoff games have happened. Saint, you haven't covered the most recent games that happened the other night and tonight. Saint, what are you doing? Don't worry. See, listen. Some people want me to cover the NBA, and I'm kind of irritated because I got to work a double tomorrow, so I ain't even going to be able to get to see some of the WNBA games that I want to watch. My Sparks play tomorrow night, and I ain't going to be able to watch it. I'm not happy about that. The biggest reason I'm not happy about that is because when I come home so the way I do the NFL, because I know sometimes people be like, yo, how the fuck do he watch all these games? The way I do it is it's very rare that I got to work on a Sunday. But when I do have to work on a Sunday, I just record the game. Every Raven game get recorded. The way I have my shit set up, soon as the Raven game come on, I start recording it. Regardless if I watch it or not. I usually watch, well, it's not a usually. I watch every single Ravens game. Whether I watch it when it's happening or whether I watch it after it happened, none of the scores for the NFL games pop up because I turn my phone on. I delete all the apps. Well, not apps. I delete all the football related apps on my phone during football season. Or the only app that I keep is the Fox app. And that's not just because of football. That's because that's got all the scores. So I don't have to download NBA, MLB, NFL. No. The Fox app got all of them. I used to have the ESPN app, but I think that's a terrible app. I think that app's hot fucking garbage. Sometimes I don't really like the Fox app, but the Fox Sports app is so far and away better than the fucking the NBA ESPN app. The ESPN app is just god awful to me. I don't know if they done updated it since, but it's a terrible app. I don't like the app at all, which is why I deleted it. The long load times, like, it's just a lot of reasons I don't like the ESPN app. Nonetheless, during the NFL season, I turned the notifications off for the Fox app. Because I don't want the game. I don't want the scores of the game to pop up before I can watch them myself if I miss the game. Now, it's completely different if I'm sitting at the crib all day watching the games as they happen. That's completely different. But if I leave the crib, got to go to work or something like that, or I haven't caught the game yet. Yo, quick side note. Jokic went 15 for 22, 13 assists, no turnovers, 40 points. Lord only knows how many assists this motherfucker had. This is why every time, y'all was praying on his downfall, but listen. That's how I end up watching the NFL games, and that's how I record them and yada, 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 so that I don't have the game ruined for me. I don't know if that's going to happen with the WNBA yet, because for one, I got to find a reliable source to always watch the games, because I don't buy NBA league passes and shit like that. The reason I stopped buying league passes for the NFL or for the NFL, whatever you want to call it, for Sunday, for the NFL, it used to be with DirecTV, and it's called NFL Sunday Pass, I think. And for the NBA, it's called the League Pass. I don't like either. When I used to pay, bro, I spent damn near $200, probably more than $200 on an NBA League Pass a long time ago. Just because I wanted to watch, mostly I wanted to watch the Laker games. But at that time, I wasn't smart enough to realize, bro, just try to buy the pass just for the Lakers. Because you could do that. You could just buy the games to watch the Lakers. The problem, the first 10 fucking Laker games, I'm not bullshitting with you, was blacked out. Now, matter of fact, it wasn't 10. I think it was like the first 7 or 8. It was a lot of the first game. Matter of fact, it probably was the first 10. Because you got to remember, this back when Kobe was on the team. So they was on TV all the time. This was the championship years. And they had 10 fucking games blacked out to start the season. And I literally say to myself, why am I getting charged this much money and I can't even watch the team that I want to watch? Same with the NFL. I bought they shit. And the game was blacked out. So I'm like, bro, why the fuck would I pay for this shit and the games that I want to see is blacked out? Like, if I can't get the channel that got the game, clearly that's why I bought the league pass. But because it's on a national television station, I get a black. That's crazy. I think all of those shits are stupid. I don't know if they done changed that up a little bit, but I still be hearing people talk about blackouts. So listen. I don't want to promote nothing crazy on here, and it's a certain things that I don't promote for this, even though the whole world be talking about it on Twitter and whatnot. And if you can read in between the lines of what I'm talking about, congratulations. But it's just something that I'm not going to promote on here, bro. But it is a far better option than buying them expensive ass services. To me, it's just a far better option. I don't care what people think about it, as long as they got HD options. It's just a better option to watch games, bro. I do not recommend paying that type of money. I know rich people talk about how they don't pay for certain events, bro. How they have an alternative way of watching events. And I'm not going to get on here and glorify it because I don't want the sites to ever get shut down. I do glorify it, but I just don't talk about it out loud because I don't want the sites to get shut down. I don't want... If you don't know what I'm talking about after I just said that, then, God bless you, bro. You're probably just a good human being, bro. Or you just follow all the rules. But my whole thing, hold on. Wait a minute. Give me 2 seconds. I'm trying to see. I want to see this. I want to see if this, nope, it's not something I'm watching. Anyways, some show called Smiling Friends on Adult Swim. It looked like the creators of Rick and Morty probably created it because that's what the animation remind me of. Nonetheless, I have went on a tangent or on a talk about nothing tour for the last couple minutes. But don't worry. If you are here to talk, listen, we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark, and, we're going to talk about the WNBA games that I saw tonight. And if we got time at the end, I'll talk about some of the NBA games. But this is specifically, more importantly, mostly a WNBA show tonight. But I do want to say something about the WNBA before I get into Caitlin Clark and the Fever, or Caitlin Clark's debut. I'm seeing what the WNBA is doing early with the marketing and whatnot. And I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter saying, yeah, they are failing. The WNBA is going to drop the ball on this. Like, they're going to fail. They're not going to expand the league. They're not going to grow the league the way. They're not going to get the viewership, or they're not going to be able to maintain it. And I agree with what people are saying. Now, I know it's that group of people out there who, it's like a group of people who just don't fucking, if you say anything that's not flattering about Caitlin Clark, they immediately get angry about it. Like they just, you can't say nothing negative about Caitlin Clark. And, the fact that she already got this type of fan base is dope, but goodness gracious, they only gonna get more irritating as it go on, or as she gets greater. Nonetheless, I understand marketing Caitlin Clark. I understand the WNBA feel like, oh, we got a great player on our hands. However, it's a couple things that I do want to say about the WNBA, because I wasn't even talking about this at first. I didn't really think it was a huge problem. I understood why the WNBA was pushing Caitlin Clark the way she was. I mean, the way they were. However, I do agree with people who feel like it's Caitlin Clark. It's all or nothing for Caitlin Clark. And I want Caitlin Clark fans to understand, this is not people hating on Caitlin Clark. Like, Caitlin Clark fan, matter of fact, I'll get into that in a minute. But this is not people, because I'm starting to realize a bunch of Caitlin Clark fans is a bunch of, they are just solely Caitlin Clark fans. It's like I tell y'all about the NFL. It's a lot of people, fans, if you will, who are not fans of the NFL, bro. They are just fans of their football team, because you can't be a fan of the NFL if you only like one team. If there's no other teams or players that you enjoy watching, you're not an NFL fan. You're a fan of your team, which to an extent, I guess I understand that, but I don't understand only my biggest, the problem that I have a hard time understanding is why one chooses to watch just one team. That's weird to me. Not having an allegiance to one team is fine. Not watching any teams but your team, only seeing other teams play through highlights or when they play your team, that's crazy. And a lot of people do that and talk about the game as if they watch every team play, and they just don't. And that's my problem with, the sports media I done talked about in the past. However, I'm starting to understand that a lot of Caitlin Clark fans are just that. Caitlin Clark fans. Like, they do not care about anything else other than Caitlin Clark. And I guess that's all right to an extent, but you should be trying to open yourself up. Like, what if it's a player that make you enjoy women's ball just as much as Caitlin Clark? Like, and you're not giving yourself that opportunity. Also, it's very weird to me that some people did not like women's hoops, and Caitlin Clark made them a fan. Like, I understand players can make you a fan of something, but not liking the sport in general. Like, if you never watch women's basketball and one day you turned on Caitlin Clark and she made you a fan, that's a bit weird to me. I'm not going to lie. I don't really understand how that works. But nonetheless, I'm here to talk to Caitlin Clark fans and tell you, I'm not going at Caitlin Clark, but it is some things that have to be talked about, because the WNBA is fucking themselves right now. Every ad, every analyst, everybody, all they talking about is Caitlin Clark. And I understand Caitlin Clark is the number one pick in the draft. I understand how talented she is. I understand what she did in college. I understand all that. However, I'm not telling them to not talk about Caitlin Clark. That's not what I'm advocating. That would be stupid. What I'm saying is you can't be so far up Caitlin Clark's asshole that you forget to talk about the other great players in your league. Caitlin Clark just gave you a great opportunity to re-energize your league. And so I don't understand why you don't use it. It's fans who are going to tune in to watch Caitlin Clark who don't know about the WNBA. They don't know about the legends like the Cheryl Swoops, the Lisa Leslies, the Maya Moores, the Candace Parkers. They don't know about them. The Diana Taurasis, the Sue Birds. They don't know about those women. They know Caitlin Clark. They don't know the I'm about to start fucking some names up, so forgive me. Collier for the Lynx. They don't know about Satu. They don't know about Sabrina. They don't know about Stewie. They don't know about Asia. They don't know about Kelsey. They don't know about Chelsea. They don't know a lot of these current WNBA players, the top WNBA players in the game. They don't know them. Hell, they probably don't know Aaliyah Boston, and she played for the Fever. Tonight, the Fever played against, shout out to Dewani Bonner, who is now a top 5 scorer all time in the WNBA. Most of them don't know who the fuck that is, which is a shame. Number 24, cold as a motherfucker. Cold. One of my favorite people to wear that number 24, bruh. I know Kobe would be proud, bruh. Looking at her rep that. Just aging like fine. I'm gonna be honest. I thought that and my brothers said the same thing. We thought that the Suns would let the age factor start to get to them a little bit. They did not. They looked dominant tonight. Carrington, just a phenomenal first half. Exactly the first half she needed to have. And if she don't get injured in the second half, she probably dominate in the second half also. And Alyssa Thompson, who finished second in MVP votes last year. The triple-double. The quiet triple-double, but the triple-double nonetheless. Here's my problem. If you watch the game tonight, unless you were already a fan of the sport, you're a fan of the Sun Connecticut, you wouldn't know who Bonner was, who Thompson was, who Carrington was. You would not understand the greatness of Bonner. You would not understand the greatness of Carrington. You would not understand the great young player that Dijonai is. You just would not understand any of that because if you watch the game, they didn't talk about any of those 3 women, at least for not long periods of time. Dijonai dominated to start this game. Dominated. Played great defense on Caitlin Clark. Was great at was hitting her shots. Was aggressive. You wouldn't have known it unless you just looked at the box score. They went to the halftime. Bro, they probably gave Dijonai probably a sentence or 2. But the whole halftime was about why Caitlin Clark was struggling. And I get it. You want to talk about Caitlin Clark because you feel like the viewers are tuning in for Caitlin Clark. However, this is one of my problems with the media, bro. Instead of trying to teach you, they rather just keep feeding you the same bullshit that they know gonna get you to come back. We gonna talk about Caitlin Clark. So why not talk about other great players in the midst of that? I'm not even telling you that you got to turn the whole conversation into talking about multiple WNBA players, even though that would be nice. What I'm saying is if you feel like you can only keep these Caitlin Clark fans' attention span for a couple seconds, why not talk about Caitlin Clark and talk about somebody else in that time frame so you can start building up other people in the WNBA? Because I don't know if Caitlin Clark fans or the WNBA or analysts realize this. Caitlin Clark is not the only player in the WNBA. She's not the first player in the WNBA. She's not the greatest player to ever play in the WNBA. And she ain't the last person who will ever play in the WNBA. Or at least not the last hyped up star that's coming into the league. So mismanaging this shit so awfully right now is surprising to me. Because like I said, I understand hyping up one of the big stars coming into your league. You're supposed to do that. But the WNBA done shown you the entire time they only care about Caitlin Clark. That's it. Angel Reese has a huge following. Huge following. I understand people want to make it seem as though Caitlin Clark is the only one who re-energized women's basketball. That's simply not true. She had to have an opponent on the other side. It's the reason she ain't no two-time champion. Because Angel Reese was on the other side once. And South Carolina was on the other side the other time. So I'm not understanding the WNBA not promoting the other women while also promoting Caitlin Clark makes no fucking sense to me. Caitlin Clark is not gonna, Caitlin Clark by herself is not gonna save your league. That's not gonna happen. I know I done got on here multiple times and said, yo, Caitlin Clark is great for the WNBA. Caitlin Clark alone is not gonna save the WNBA. The great players that's there and that will come still will make a difference. So when you promoting your games and the only person these analysts is talking about is Caitlin Clark, you are doing a disservice to your game because the casual fan don't know who the fuck these women are on the other team. To be naive and believe that these people are watching the WNBA when you know they're not watching the WNBA is a problem. I understand people knowing who Asia Wilson and Kelsey Plum are. Those are two big names who done made themselves bigger outside of their sport. So they known outside of the WNBA, even though they are known for being in the WNBA. They've made themselves bigger than just the name on the back of the jersey. Or I didn't say that wrong. They made themselves more bigger than the name on the front of the jersey, which is the Aces, because their name is on the back. That's what I meant to say. And so I'm not talking about people like Candace Parker. Most people know who Candace Parker is. But all of these women are not big outside of the WNBA, whether it be because of opportunity, because they're young, they haven't had to connect, whatever it may be. Now you have an opportunity to shine a light on them. In this game, coming into this game, all you heard was Caitlin Clark, which, like I said, I have no problem with them talking about Caitlin Clark leading up to this game. The problem, the WNBA knew that Dewani Bonner was close to becoming the 5th all-time scorer in their league. They didn't even talk about that leading up to the fucking game. Now, I don't follow the Mercury. I don't follow the Sun. I don't like that most of these WNBA players don't have an S at the end of their names. But I don't like that the Connecticut's that's why I call most of these WNBA teams by their city, not by the actual name. Because none of these, like, it's called the Fever, not the Fevers, or it's called the Sun, not the Suns. Like the Sparks is the Sparks, bro, with an S at the end of the name. It's weird as fuck not having an S at the end of the name. Like, I know the Utah Jazz don't have an S at the end, but that's because you don't put an S at the end of jazz. Jazz is, look at all those jazz artists. Look at that jazz. Like, I think jazz is one of those plural and singular words. You know, it's some words that spelled the same even though they singular and plural. I think it's some words that said the same too even when they singular and plural, like plural. Like red and read is spelled the same. I'm not finna get into this English thing right now, bro. Just know that if I wanted to, though, I could have a whole class right now with y'all on English, bro. I'm very smart when it comes to that. I don't claim to be smarter than a lot of things pertaining to in school, but I could get on your nerves with how smart I am when it comes to the English language and whatnot, and English classes and all that shit in general. Bro, before I continue on with this WNBA thing real quick, it was a dude on Twitter. Matter of fact, I'll get to that at the end of the show if I remember. This is more important. But listen, what I'm saying is the WNBA most people would not have known that Bonner was about to become a top 5 scorer in the WNBA history. Because the WNBA didn't let you know that. They didn't even celebrate. Bro, I watched this game. I don't even think they stopped the fucking game to celebrate her having that moment. That's one. The WNBA not giving a fuck about their own great players' accomplishments is crazy. The analysts, only talking about Caitlin Clark is, bro, you should not let the fans just dictate everything you do. That's why I hate the fucking WWE right now. Because if the fans say it, that's what they do. You cannot the fans are fickle, bro. Fans do not know what the fuck they want. Dead ass. They done proven that too many times. Fans cannot write the story the way they can. Like, I don't like it when people listen to the fans, but especially when you got a lot of erratic ass fans. You can still teach fans, even if they tell you they don't want to be taught. You the one who get to decide that, not the fans. If they don't want to be taught, then they can stop watching. But what's the chances that they really gonna stop watching if you still talking about Caitlin Clark, or if Caitlin Clark is on TV? The announcers at the game only talking about Caitlin Clark, finding a way to make everything about Caitlin Clark, even when she ain't in the game. You are not helping the WNBA. You are doing a disservice to the WNBA, in my opinion, because there's so many great, talented women. I cannot believe most people who watch this game would not know Bonner was about to become a top 5 scorer all time. And that just blows my fucking mind that the WNBA did not put. Did you see what the WNBA did do you see what the NBA does every time a record is close to being broken or about to be broken or is broken by a player? Bro, they post that shit around everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, they website, ESPN's website. Bro, you gonna know it. The WNBA is ridiculous. This is what I'm saying. You have an opportunity to change your ways and do better. Like this is one of my problems with the WNBA. A lot of people blame product. They say people don't watch this product. To an extent, that is true. People don't watch it as much as they watch some of the other sports products. However, women's basketball works. It's done been proven a multitude of times that people will watch women's basketball. High level competitors competing in an event. People will watch it. It's done been proven. However, people are busy. People have lives. People have other things they like to watch and enjoy too. So if the WNBA is not going to promote their product the way they should promote it to get people invested, if the WNBA not going to put the product everywhere so people can figure out when games happen, who they should be rooting for, who they should be celebrating, how can you expect people to do that by themselves when you're not the dominant brand? I just feel like they is missing a key opportunity right now to make their game as big as possible. They are expanding the league, which I'm going to get to in the back end of the show because I want that to be a segment. But I just don't understand right now the marketing ideas for the WNBA, or the marketing is irritating. Hearing these, to be completely honest, the most frustrating part of it is seeing so many of these women analysts only talk about Caitlin Clark. And they know how important it's no way they don't understand the importance of talking about other women to help grow the game. Because when you tell me that you want to grow the game, but you only talk about Caitlin Clark, you don't want to grow the game. You want Caitlin Clark. You want to talk about Caitlin Clark. Which, by the way, I never seen somebody, even with the accomplishments Caitlin Clark has, she ain't got a championship. People talk about her like she won a championship. I fuck with Caitlin Clark. I call her Caitlin Dubs. However, C Dubs ain't got no rings. Now, if you watch the show, you already know. But if you don't, let me tell you right now, there's no such thing as ring culture. That BS that Dame Lillard and all them other losers be talking about. Okay? Saint believe in rings. All right? Saint believe in them things. Them rings. Listen, you're not going to convince me that winning the ring is not important. And I'm not stupid. I understand how to differentiate the greatness of players who won rings who actually didn't play much of a role, or who did play a role but just wasn't the main guy. So I'm not stupid enough to say, oh, I don't know, Shannon Brown, who won 2 rings with the Lakers, was better than Charles Barkley, who didn't win a ring. You see, I'm not foolish enough to say something stupid like that. so I can still keep rings in a high regard without devaluing a player who doesn't have them compared to a role player who has them. See, the WNBA, I just don't like that they dropping this ball, bro. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Like I said before, your ads are basically just Caitlin Clark ads. She got a State Farm ad. She got all the analysts talking about her. I understand Caitlin Clark. Mind you, they wasn't talking about Candace Parker like this coming into the league. She was a better player coming into the league. She had rings coming into the league. If you don't believe me, Candace Parker was dropped 34 motherfucking points as a rookie in her debut, the most all time. So I'm just saying, it's so many different things. Candace Parker just fucking retired, bro. And unless you follow Candace Parker and all these other outlets, you would never know because of the WNBA. Because the WNBA is not like, this opening night should have had something to do with Candace Parker, to be completely honest with you. Like, the Sparks should have done something for her tonight also. Not the Sparks, the Aces. The Sparks better do something for her tomorrow and acknowledge her. That's one of the greatest players that's ever played in your game. Candace Parker is my GOAT of the WNBA. And the WNBA don't even, like, so the marketing right now for the WNBA to me is god awful. They just got to deal with Skims. If you go look at the photos from some of the women that took a picture of the Skims, I understand people gonna know Cameron Brink, people gonna know Candace. Bro, Dijonai Carrington was one of the people who took a picture with the Skims product. Most people wouldn't know who Dijonai was. She played and balled tonight. And she should have been getting talked about the entirety. Matter of fact, before I even continue with that, I'm ending that first segment basically by saying the WNBA got to do better. Point blank period. You have so many great players, and I understand the greatness. I understand how much you love Caitlin Clark, because I can't even say the greatness because she haven't done nothing in the league yet. I understand the reputation she bringing with her, and I understand the big name and the following she bringing. However, if you want to keep those fans, because what if Caitlin Clark ain't the same player she was in college? What if Caitlin Clark isn't generational? What if she's just a regular player? I don't want that to happen, but what if that is what happens? Then you're going to lose fans because they stop watching because Caitlin Clark's not special anymore. Which is why you got to get them invested in other things, bro. That's what a smart business does. But I digress. I want to talk about the game. Now, before I get into the game, the Fever beat lost to the Suns 71-92. That's the game we're finna talk about. The Liberty come back to beat the Mystics 85-80. The Mercury end up losing, which they put up a good we're going to talk about this one later too, but this was a great game. The Mercury and the Aces. 80-89. The back-to-back champs get a dub. And the Lynx end up winning 83-70 against the Storm in what was a competitive game for the most part, but then the Lynx pulled away. Nafisha said, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, bro. I don't like saying her name because I know I be pronouncing the shit wrong. Nafisha Collier. I just don't know how to pronounce her name properly. If I can hear her name be pronounced a couple more times, even though I done heard her name pronounced a multitude of times, I just can't say the shit for some reason. I don't know why, but it's like Satu Sabali is a name that you would think people would confuse, but I done Satu that. Lord have mercy. Listen. We move on to the game. All right? We move on to. See, that's the thing I'm going to have to do. When I'm talking about all these WNBA games, I can't keep saying how fine these women is, okay? Okay? I know somebody gonna be like, he don't talk about how fine the men is in the WNBA. I mean, in the NBA. Well, that's because I'm not gay. But, you know, if you are, nothing wrong with that. Anyways, I want to talk about this game because Carrington had a hell of a first half. You would never know it if you just was listening to the analysts and whatnot, or if you watched the halftime show, because nobody talked about it. They gave her like a sentence, and then everything else was about Caitlin Clark. Okay? But in the first half of this game, you could tell Connecticut did not give a flying fuck about Caitlin Clark, bro. They did not care that she was the new girl on the block. She helped them get fighter planes and this and that. They do not give a flying fuck, or charter plane. They don't care. They came out here to win a basketball game. And I respect the fuck out of that. Because, sometimes people can, sometimes you can get not necessarily starstruck. You can get caught up in the moment, especially when the moment really ain't about you. You got to find a way to make the moment about you in order to not get lost in the sauce. Okay? Because it's a lot of times I'm put in a situation where the shit has nothing to do with me. For some reason, I'm just here. It's these two motherfuckers that got the problem. You know what I do? I leave. I don't make it about me because I have nothing to gain from that situation. Well, in this situation, Connecticut had everything to gain. So they needed to find a way to make this about them. And the best way to make it about you when two motherfuckers is beefing with each other, punch both of them in the mouth. The WNBA did the Suns a huge disservice. You knew that was who they was playing, who Caitlin Clark was playing against first, and you knew that they had they have three great players on this team. One player was a MVP candidate last year who finished in second, and Elisa Thomas, my fault, and you wouldn't have even known it because they didn't talk about her. Bonner, one of the greatest scorers in WNBA history. You wouldn't have known that she was that because they didn't talk about it. You're killing your own sport, bro. You're hurting your own sport, bro. Why? Listen, tonight you're going to hear me talk about a lot of the WNBA stuff that happened tonight. You're going to probably hear me talk about a lot of different women in the WNBA. It's not just a Caitlin Clark-centric show. However, I'm not even big time. I'm not who you should be relying on to get the message out about the WNBA. You should be doing that yourself. You shouldn't be relying on other streamers and YouTubers and ESPN. No, bro, you should be making a business plan to get your teams, your players talked about themselves. And one way to do that is to make sure when the announcers is calling a game, they don't become so Caitlin Clark centric that they pay no respect or pay little attention to what's actually going on the court. Now, I'm not calling out the announcers of this game and telling you that they are bad announcers. That's not what I'm doing. What I am telling you is they were too hyper focused on talking about Caitlin Clark. And to be completely honest with you, you do a huge disservice. Not only do you do a disservice to your own league, it's pretty fucking disrespectful to Bonner, Thomas, Dijonai. What are we doing? The Bonner one still blows my fucking mind. That is listen, I understand Elisa was, an MVP candidate last year. Bonner is a top 5 fucking scorer all time. Of all the women that done played your game, Bonner is now 5th all time in scoring. Most people didn't know that going into the game that she could get to that. Most people don't know that coming out of the fucking game. That just cannot happen. That cannot happen. Killing different legacies to create one cannot happen. I know we want Caitlin Clark to be great. The WNBA ain't the only person who wanted Caitlin Clark to be great. There's people out there who want to watch women's basketball, and now they relying on Caitlin Clark to get them in the door. That's who they want to be their genesis. And that's fine. That's okay. Weird to me still, but that's okay. I realize we in an era of people who just love shooting threes. I think one of the biggest reasons it's weird to me is because as skilled as Caitlin Clark is, because she's not just a shooter. She can pass and stuff too. But I done seen a lot of skilled players coming to the WNBA who I thought should have been just as hyped up as Caitlin Clark. But for whatever reason, people... I'm going to get to that segment later on, too, because I was going to say something, but I'm going to get to that segment later. But to me, when you look at this game, the first half, Carrington should have been all over Twitter. But the only people who were talking about her was people who either were fans of Connecticut or people who actually just fans of the WNBA like me. But if you're not a fan of the WNBA, if you don't watch it like I do, if you're not a fan of college women's basketball, if you don't pay attention to all these different type of things before tonight, then you don't know who Dijonai Carrington is. You wouldn't have paid any type of attention to her game. To you, most people was just, who was that black girl that's shutting Caitlin Clark down? The WNBA done been presented a phenomenal opportunity to grow their sport. This is even a situation where it's not even just on the Mystics. Because the Mystics can only, not the Mystics, the Sun. They can only promote their players to a certain extent. They still need the WNBA to do their job also. Alyssa Thomas had a very quiet night. She didn't really score a lot of points. She only scored, where are my notes at? I did not write down how many points she scored for some reason. She didn't score a lot of points, though. I think she scored like 12 to 16 points. She had a triple-double. She a triple-double type of player. Alyssa Thompson just do a lot of things great to me, bro. And she was one of the reasons they stayed in it. They won this game because they was up in this game for a long time. It was a stretch in this game in the third quarter where it looked like the refs just started calling a bunch of bullshit to try to get the Fever back into this game. I'm not gonna lie. And you know, I hate the refs. If you watching this show for the first time, I hate refs in the NBA, NFL. I hate refs, bro. The refs in the third quarter of this fucking game. Yo, I don't understand this whistle. Some of the calls that they was giving to the Fever was crazy. Caitlin Clark got her three-pointer blocked on a shot, and they called a foul. Now, Caitlin Clark did get fouled going into the paint on one of those plays. But for the most part, bailing people out with calls when you just playing bad basketball, I'm never going to be a fan of. The Fever just wasn't playing good basketball. Aaliyah Boston finished the game with like 4 points on 6 shots. She was a non-factor. A non-factor. Now, I'm going to talk about that in a second because I do have some thoughts about that. But the way the Suns neutralized basically the offense of, because I only believe that the comeback that the Fever started to make a little comeback end of the third, beginning of the fourth. That only really happened for 2 reasons. One, the fucking refs. They started calling ridiculous ass calls. 2, the Suns stopped shooting the ball as good as they were shooting it. But then they started to shoot that shit great again. So they pulled away again. But the refereeing in this fourth, third kind of second quarter was ridiculous. I literally started to say to myself, bruh, do they got money on the fucking game? Jesus. Now, I'm going to tell you something. That cannot be what the league turned into. Like, people cannot start thinking that Caitlin Clark is getting favorable calls and her team getting favorable calls because the league want Caitlin Clark to succeed. That can't happen. But Caitlin Clark, she struggled. Now, Caitlin Clark struggling does not shock me. I'm not really. Listen. Every time you hear me go quiet for a second, it's because I'm writing. But listen to me. Caitlin Clark struggling. Listen. She had 20 points. It was a rough 20, but she still did find a way to score 20. She started looking a little bit more comfortable at the end. I know a lot of people not going to be happy with her complaining about calls. People was like, oh, she was complaining about calls the whole night. I get it. People don't like people who complain about calls and yada yada yada. It kind of felt a little Luka Doncic Luka Doncic-ish. I see where people got that idea from. They was like, man, I feel like I'm watching Luka play with all this crybaby, this crying for calls and shit. I get that. However, she young. This her first time in the league. I expect her to basically act the way she acted. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, and to be completely honest with you, the way people done boosted up Caitlin Clark, why wouldn't she expect to get certain calls? Now, like I said, some of these ridiculous ass calls these refs was calling. Now, they also called calls on Caitlin Clark. I think she finished with like 3 or 4 fouls. She had 10 turnovers in this game. A lot of these was just, I'm going to tell you, throughout the game, or really early in this game, and I said it to myself, but I didn't tweet it, Caitlin Clark kind of looked tired, fatigued a little bit. Like these women was getting to her based off of how they was playing. And you could just look at the game and tell this was not college basketball anymore. This was the WNBA. So I'm not worried about Caitlin. She'll be fine. She got to adapt to the physicality of the WNBA. As a matter of fact, I was going to make this a segment by itself, but it just makes too much sense to talk about it right now. Diana Taurasi tried to tell you motherfuckers exactly what I'm about to tell you. Diana Taurasi literally told you people it's not the same game. It's going to be tougher when she get to the W. And y'all called her a hater. And I'm constantly baffled by this notion of a fan who ain't never played the game can talk crazy about a player. But if a player talk about a player or give some type of say something about the league, then they haters. They need to shut the fuck up. They don't know what they talking about. And I understand that to an extent, because I'm not telling you every player know what they talking about, but to act like every fan do, crazy work. But Diana Taurasi tried to tell y'all, and y'all called her a hater. And I said at the time, why would Diana Taurasi be a hater? She a multi-time champion. She the leading scorer all time in the WNBA. Like, Diana Taurasi is one of the most decorated hoopers, let alone women hoopers all time. Diana Taurasi is a brand name. I don't really know why DT would be hating. Now, like I said before, I don't know if my message, I don't know if I would have said exactly what Diana Taurasi said, but then again, I just don't care enough. But the way that y'all was going at Diana Taurasi was crazy. When all she was trying to say was exactly what people say all the time. This is what I'm starting to realize. Well, I've been realizing. I said this a couple shows ago. A lot of y'all dudes is just gay and sexist. Dead ass. Because you hear a woman say something and you blow up. Before this playoff run, most people had said Jalen Brunson was not a superstar. They didn't believe he could lead a team to a championship. Becky Hammond said it, and people went in on her. I don't understand it. Candace Parker spoke about a player who everybody agreed on, but then she said it, and it was a problem. Diana Taurasi said, it's not going to be this easy when Caitlin Clark get to the league. She playing against little girls. She's going to be playing against grown women. The sentiment that most people say for hoopers, for NBA players. My bad, women, because y'all hoopers. Y'all are hoopers. I did not mean to say that. But the same thing we say about NBA players. Like, yo, it's going to be different when he get to the league. Or NFL players. It's going to be different when he get to the league. He playing against grown men who got to feed a family, who earning a paycheck. We hear dudes say that all the time. I don't hear they hating. Diana Taurasi says it. It's hate. So I'm just at the point where I'm starting to realize a lot of you dudes is just gay and don't like women at all. And I was about to say I get that, but I don't, because I love women. So that's a battle and a war that you win by yourself. But there is some bright news or some good news stemming from this. Only Murders in the Building is coming back. Now, I know you're thinking, what the fuck does that have to do with this, Saint? Not much of anything, but I thought about it as I was talking about it. So I said to myself, I might as well turn this into something beautiful. And Only Murders in the Building with Scorsese, with Selena Gomez. I can't remember Martin's full name. And what's my other man's name? I can't remember my other man. Martin Short. It's a great cast, bro. It's on Hulu. When it comes out, if you ain't seen season 1 and 2, go check out season 1 and 2. Season 1 was far better than season 2. But season 2 was great. No, let me change that. It's not far better than season 2. Season 1 and 2 is both great. I love both seasons. I have nitpicks with both seasons. But I like both seasons. Anyways, because this is not a Only Murders in the Building segment. Diana Taurasi was right. And if you watch the game tonight, it was very evident that Caitlin Clark is going to have to adjust to the speed of the WNBA game, the physicality of the WNBA game, the fact that WNBA teams are not as stupid as the schemes that you saw in college basketball where they just throwing it. Like Haley Van Leef, I fuck with her heavy. Can't wait till she a WNBA player also. But she ain't the one guarding Caitlin Clark in the pros, okay? Now, Caitlin Clark will go up against the New York Liberty next. They don't got the greatest perimeter defense. The Suns are a great defensive team. They play hard, and they got them dogs. So Caitlin Clark, the only way I think she played a great game is if she would have had to play a thinking game in this one. But the game she haven't caught up to the speed of the game yet, which is expected in your first game in the pros. And so, listen, Connecticut might not ever have another chance to play against her the way they played against her tonight, but they were able to do that to her tonight. And it was a great game. They forced her into 10 turnovers. She gonna have to, okay, so late in this, some of her turnovers to me were just fatigue turnovers where you get so fatigued from the physicality, the running and all that you start making boneheaded decisions. Like, you shouldn't make this pass, but you still try to make this pass because you're just so fucking tired. You're not thinking all the way straight at times. That's the kind of situation she was in tonight. Plus, you got to think about it. Caitlin Clark never really played from these type of deficits in college. Most of the time, Iowa was winning. So, this was a great first game to the league experience for Caitlin Clark, in my opinion. Now, some people be like, oh yeah, this humbled her, bruh. She needed to be humbled. I just don't understand stuff like that. I don't know if she needed to be humbled. She haven't given me the sign that she not humble. Is she supposed to hate that people fuck with her like this? Like, I don't understand that. Like, people saying she not humble and stuff like that, like, that's ridiculous to me, bro. Just because a lot of people love her and she getting a lot of praise and whatnot does not mean she's not humble. I will never understand that way of thinking. That's absolutely ridiculous to me. But Diana Taurasi was right. And I knew she was right in that moment, but everybody hated her for some reason. They felt like she was hating. And now you realize, oh, damn, she was right. That's crazy. She's 40. She about to be 40 next month. She been in this game this long. Maybe she did know a thing or two. Huh. Interesting. Now, I want to get into the fever for a second. Not just Caitlin Clark. Because Aaliyah Boston was a non-factor tonight. And you would probably think Aaliyah Boston is probably their second best player. Some people will probably say they their first best player. I don't think Aaliyah Boston, if she the best player on the team, is only because she'd have been in the pros for a year. But I think Caitlin Clark actually have the higher ceiling and the better skill set. She got the more preferable skill set to me. But I am interested to see how they end up working this, because I did not think that this offense would look this bad to start the season. I thought this would have been an easy 2-woman game between Clark and Aaliyah Boston. I thought they would have played like a pick and roll, big little type of game. That is not what happened. So I actually am interested to see what what the Fever do. Like, I'm gonna be honest, watching this game, I questioned on what the fuck the Fever do in practice. Like, did they spend a whole training camp, like, fawning over Caitlin Clark, talking to the media about how you gonna protect Caitlin Clark and all this? This offense looked god-awful. Like, god-awful. And if not for the Sun missing, I hate the fact that these motherfuckers is just the Sun. If not for the fact that the Suns missed so many, started missing shots in the third quarter, I don't know if this not a 30 to 40 point ass beating. Like, the third quarter did wonders for the Fever. Without that third quarter, it get kind of shaky at the end of that, because the score already looked kind of shaky, but I did not think their offense would look this anemic. That's a coaching problem. Your coach should not have had this team come out there look this bad. To me. Now, the next game could look completely different. But you're playing against Sabrina and Stewie, so you're going to need to be able to score points. Now, Sabrina and Stewie both struggled tonight. They both struggled. They were not the leading scorers for their teams at the end of the night. But you can't expect. Mind you got to remember this also. New York had multiple people average double figures last year. Not just Stewie and Sabrina. I didn't watch that game, though, so I'm not going to talk about that game. I watched, I didn't watch the highlights. I was watching it alongside the Fever game, but I was watching the Fever game. I was just kind of watching the New York game, basically. And on most days, I would have watched the New York game because I love Breanna Stewart. I've been watching her my whole life since she was in, well, not my whole life, but I've been watching her since she was in at UConn with Maya motherfucking Moore. Can y'all believe that? Her and Maya Moore played on the same Connecticut team, bro. She was the young buck. Maya Moore was the vet. Or the senior. Actually, I think I'm getting that wrong. If I got that wrong, fuck me. But listen, they did play on the same college UConn team. Back in the heyday of UConn, bro, when them motherfuckers was winning every fucking championship, where Don Staley was his only competition. Well, no, Tennessee was his competition at one point in time. But Tennessee haven't won a natty since Candace Parker left, so. And I don't really see that happen. I don't know if they're going to win another natty, because the best players are still going to South Carolina and UConn. I mean, maybe USC get back on the map with Juju. And they did get a couple good players. But for the most part, I don't know. The Val's going to have to get like a game changer. A big time game changer. However, I'm getting off topic. Getting so far off topic. The Fever have to figure out how to get this offense going. And I understand, like I said, I understand it's the first game of the season. It was also the first game of the season for a lot of these other teams. Okay? And just to put this in perspective for you, only one other team scored less than 80 points tonight. And that was the Storm, who a lot of people, they also had a bad shooting night with Diggins, and Gumake. Like, they had a rough night. They ended up getting blasted. Well, they lost about 13 points, but they ended up losing. They only scored 70 points. The Fever only scored 71 points. So those were the two low scores of the night, because the Suns scored 92, the Liberty scored 85, the Mystics scored 80, the Mercury scored 80, the Aces scored 89. So not only did the Fever score only 71 points, but they also gave up the most points tonight out of any other team by giving up 92 points. So I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I saw somebody say that this Fever team is a good team. I don't believe it is, just because you added Caitlin Clark. I think that's the problem that lies. A lot of people gonna become Caitlin Clark fans gonna become Fever fans and believe that the Fever should be in a championship contender this year, and that's just not the case. Some people probably went and told you they got Aaliyah Boston, they got Caitlin Clark, they gonna be dominant this year. Not the case. Just not the case. Aaliyah Boston, as much as I like Aaliyah Boston, I'll just save that. I gotta see the other ones before Aaliyah Boston right now is not a top 5 power forward for me. Because she played power forward. I don't got her in my top 5 right now. But, you know. I saw a poll that said, who do you have as the top center? The top power forward. And Asia Wilson got 17% of the votes, and the GMs gave Breanna Stewart 42% of the votes. Now, this is a very interesting name because Breanna Stewart is a fucking center. Asia Wilson is also a center, but she played power forward last year when Candace Parker played center. So I'm not understanding why she didn't get that vote. But also, Asia Wilson is the younger of the two. She a 2-time champion, defensive player of the years, MVPs, finals MVPs. They love throwing the New York Times bestseller in there too, even though they ain't got shit to do with her on the court accomplishments. I'm gonna throw it in there too because I fuck with Asia. I'm not really sure why she didn't win that vote. But then she won the vote for the centers. And that's crazy because Breanna Stewart is the more natural center. Even though Asia Wilson is a great center, and that's the position I would play her at now, which that's the position she play. It's just all interesting. Let me put it like that. It's all interesting. But the Fever got to figure something out with the offense at the end of the day. They got to figure that offense out. Now, before I move on to what I want to move on to next, I do want to shout out Carrington, Bonner, Thomas. Matter of fact, let me say y'all whole name. Dijonai Bonner, Elisa Thompson, Dijonai Carrington. 3 people who should have got heavy praise tonight, but did not. Shout out to you 3 women. Phenomenal game. Phenomenal games all across the board. The next game I ended up watching was, I didn't get to see it. Well, actually I did, but I didn't see the ring ceremony, but they played it back. And so then I saw it. Bro, I thought Asia Wilson was going to come out here with the platinum hair. She didn't. They were showing the fits. They were showing the fit checks for the Las Vegas Aces. Before the game. Kelsey Plum, what a fit. What a fit. I don't understand why people call Kelsey Plum the Puerto Rican princess. Kelsey Plum is straight white, bro. And I think she from North Dakota. If she not, you could shock me. I'm not telling you Kelsey Plum is ugly. But Kelsey Plum don't look Mexican, Latino, Puerto Rican. None of that. She look white. She don't sound Puerto Rican or none of that. She sound white. She even told you, I'm white. So I'm confused by this. I just think a bunch of you motherfuckers don't leave the crib, bro. You just fantasize about women online. Because some of the stuff that y'all say online is just fucking weird to me, bro. Calling a white woman a Puerto Rican princess is crazy. It's crazy. It's like when they be calling like the best black wrestlers in WWE and they show Cody Rhodes, bro. Like that shit pisses me off. I get irritated when it be some dumbass black person on Twitter be like, yeah, but us black people, we love this certain person. And we don't. Like, I get it. Black people do love Randy Orton. I haven't fully grasped that one either. Because I love Randy Orton. When he was fighting against Kofi, I went to that. So me and my brother went to the Randy Orton Kofi Kingston pay-per-view where they was the main event fighting each other. I think they was the main event that night. The whole fucking crowd was going for Cody Rhodes. I mean, not Cody, was going for Kofi. The whole fucking crowd. It was crazy. My whole section was going for him. I was the only motherfucker who was going for Randy. Now, as crazy as that sound, because Lord knows I love Kofi and the New Day. I done been a Randy Orton fan for so long. I could not shake that. And I had never seen Randy fight in person before. So I felt like, bruh, this is my first time watching Randy fight. Because every time I had been to a wrestling show, Randy Orton wasn't on the show. So this was the first time I actually got to watch Randy Orton fight. Matter of fact, I don't think none of the wrestling shows I done ever went to, I think only one time Randy Orton was performing. And it was that one. I don't think he done ever been on any of the other shows I went to unless I'm just straight up forgetting. I done seen Brock Lesnar. Cena. No, I haven't seen John Cena. I done seen Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman. My brother Lucky, he got to see The Rock and John Cena at that pay-per-view a long time ago. I should have went to that shit in Miami. I saw Dean Ambrose when he had came back and was jacked up. I seen a lot of dudes. I seen Braun Strowman. That motherfucker's huge in real life. I'm trying to remember all the great the wrestlers I done seen. I done seen Charlotte Flair. I done seen Bayley. That ass is as big live. This is not a wrestling show, so it really don't fucking matter who I done seen. Anyways, listen. I don't even know how I got off on that tangent. But I don't understand how Kelsey Plum, y'all keep calling her a Puerto Rican princess. That's weird to me, but I fuck with Kelsey Plum. The Aces took on the Phoenix Mercury tonight. Hey, shout out to Diana Taurasi, bruh. Just the fucking hooper, bro. Just a hooper. She was supposed to be a spark in another lifetime, man. DT gonna be with the same team her whole career, bro, and I hate that for her because I really want her to go join the Aces. You know what I'm saying? I don't want her to waste away the rest of her career with the Mercury. They ain't winning shit with Phoenix. They not. I'm sorry. And that's not, matter of fact, I take that back because Phoenix is not a bad team. Phoenix is not a bad team. So I take away all that shit that I just said because the way, if they play tonight against other teams the way they played tonight, oh, Phoenix gonna be a tough team to face. Phoenix is gonna be a tough team to face. They can shoot the three. They get a little bit lackadaisical defensively at times. But Phoenix can score the ball, bro. Phoenix can score the fucking ball. As long as you got Diana, mind you, they ain't even got Brittany Griner back yet. Now, I don't know when she come back, but they don't got her yet. She would have been a huge help tonight against Asia Wilson, who went for 30. Asia had 17 in the first fucking quarter. It was that type of night. It was a little stretch in this game, like a little 2-minute stretch, probably a little shorter than that, where Kelsey Plum and Diana Taurasi was trading buckets. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I love seeing it. I wish it had lasted longer. But a great win by the Aces. And I like what Becky Hammond told her team, bro, in the practice clip that they showed. We can score points. Like, we know that. We can score with the best of them. But we got to become we got to become better defensive. We got to be able to win games on the defensive side of the ball. I like that. Because you got a stud defensively in Asia Wilson. Well, I'm telling you, but I truly enjoy watching Asia Wilson play. Seeing her protect the paint. Asia Wilson's such a smart player too, bro. I'm going to tell you, sometimes, you know how, if you're a great defender, sometimes a great defender will put themselves in a bad position. And instead of just accepting that they put themselves or they are in a bad position and it's nothing they can do, they foul and pick up a foul, fuck their team. Like, bro, you are the best defender. We need you out here. Asia Wilson does not do that. When she is put in a bad position, she play it out, bro. She do not foul. Like, I wish if you didn't watch this game tonight, I really wish you could have watched Asia Wilson's mannerisms or womanisms. I don't know if that's what it is. listen, I wish you could have saw how A'ja Wilson handled the game tonight. She was just so smart in the way she defended, in the way she got her buckets. But to me specifically, I like watching people who great at something that's not easy to see, which is defense. Because defense is an effort thing. But in order to really know how good people are, this is why I got a problem with Rudy Gobert continuously winning Defensive Player of the Year, because he's not the best defender in basketball when you take into account all the different aspects of being a defender. And when you look at some of the boneheaded decisions that Rudy Gobert makes when he put himself in bad positions, he foul you and give up the bucket. A'ja Wilson said, I might give up the bucket, but I'm not fouling you. And if I foul you, you're not getting the bucket. But it was very rare that she made like a stupid foul. Even the foul that she was called for where she raised her hand, I really don't think that was a foul, to be completely honest with you. But to see how she played defensively, it was just such a smart game, bro. You know how hard it is to play against somebody who think like that throughout the entirety of the game? And they never slow down to show you that they thinking? That's crazy. It's kind of psychotic, bro, to be able to move at that pace still and think the game the way A'ja Wilson was thinking the game. Dog. Excuse me. Straight dog. Straight dog. But I got something else I want to talk about. Shout out to the Sparks. Shout out to the Aces. I was watching the Club 520 the other day. I love that show, man. But they be saying some of the most ruthless, reckless, disrespectful shit about the WNBA on that show. Jeff Teague, as much as I love listening to him, bro, and maybe this is why I am the way I am. Because as much as I can be entertained by somebody, anytime somebody start getting disrespectful, I'm always feel some type of way about it. And I know Jeff Teague probably don't feel like he being disrespectful, or at least he not doing it on purpose. But the way he be talking about the WNBA, man, is reckless, bro. Him and some of these, it's him and his two co-hosts, but specifically he be saying this shit. Like he was saying the other day, that he didn't think that the WNBA players was doing this right, that they should just let Caitlin Clark score because they helping you out. Like, turning them into a bunch of charity cases, bruh. Like, Jeff Teague, bro, I love listening to him, but some of the reckless shit he done said about the WNBA, bruh, is crazy. I'm almost certain Jeff Teague ain't watched a single game of the WNBA. So his opinions and his thoughts and his co-host DJ Will, I really enjoy a lot watching their show, but every time they talk about the WNBA, bro, I gotta skip forward because I'm like, yo, these motherfuckers is talking like three motherfuckers who don't watch the WNBA. Why would you tell women, yo, let Caitlin Clark score a lot of points, bro? Because she helping us out. How fucking weak is that? That's crazy. I can't even believe that shit came out of his mouth, bro. It was just wild, bro. It truly was wild. I couldn't believe what I was listening to. Anyways, another thing I want to talk about before we get on up out of here. I'm not going to be talking about the Nuggets game and all that. But it is one last thing I wanted to touch up on. My fault. I was watching something. It is one more thing I wanted to touch up on before we get on up out of here. And that is this NBA. Maybe I should talk about that on the next episode. Yeah, I'll probably start the next show talking about that. So you know what? Never mind. I don't want to talk about that. I'll start the next show talking about that. Or I'll talk about it at some point in time. I'm pretty sure I'll start the conversation. Man, let me write it down, bro, because I will forget. I won't forget to talk about it. I'll just forget to make it first. I wrote it down so I don't forget it. Cannot wait for the WNBA to continue tomorrow night, even though I do not believe I will be able to watch those games unless the Sparks play at 10 o'clock. Then I will 100% be able to watch. If we in LA, then I'm gonna definitely be able to watch it because that game gonna start at 10 at night. So if it's in LA, I ain't worried because I get off of work at around 10:30ish. So I ain't even worried at that point. I'm gonna be able to watch it then. But with that being said, I appreciate you for joining me on the first episode of the WNBA with Saint. Kicking it with Saint, man. WNBA edition. I fuck with you. I love you. And I appreciate you for joining me, man. Hopefully this it's going to continue because I watch the WNBA, but hopefully I can get you into the WNBA. Maybe you don't enjoy watching the WNBA. Maybe you never watched the WNBA. Maybe you just ain't never heard nobody break it down or talk about it in a way that made you want to watch it. Well, I hope I can do all of those things for you and make you a fan of the game also. So we're going to be doing this. Now, I don't have like some specific days where I'm going to talk about the WNBA. You just got to watch out for the videos. Tonight was the opening night of the WNBA, so obviously I was going to talk about it tonight, but this video won't go up till tomorrow more than likely, so you know what I'm saying. Anyways, with that being said, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Shout out to all the women who hooped out tonight, bro. Shout out to all of you. But with that being said, I appreciate you joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. You could be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. All right? That's what the world needs a little bit more of. A lot more of. Love. Understanding. Kindness. I see a lot of foul-mouthed white dudes on Twitter talking crazy. A lot of foul-mouthed young black dudes on Twitter talking crazy, bruh. Cut it out. Cut it out. Some people just wake up and want to be miserable, bro. It's crazy. It makes no sense. But tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. And if you anything like me and you love your moms the way I love my moms, go give your moms a hug and a kiss, man. Tell her you love them. Maybe drop off some bread. With that being said, though, I fuck with you. I love you. And I appreciate you. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.